Bugaloo's origins, it began in London, actually. Myself and Ben were over there pitching a project, and we got chatting after that, and the house is my family home, actually, and we were selling up. My folks passed away here, and we were selling up. And I just really wanted to shoot something in there. Actually, Sing Street and a few other projects were shot in there, but it was used as a location. But yeah, Ben's just got a magic ability to come up with crazy concepts. So he came back with Bugaloo, and Bugaloo's it's Bugaloo's cool. It's just a terrific script, and it's out there, yeah. So he asked Rory and Moe when they play it, yeah.
Yeah, I think like I knew Ben before, and I knew Peter before, and I'd always wanted to work with both of them, actually, and myself and Ben, we quite good friends, and be always talking about, is there a project we can do? So when this came up and the chance to work with Peter and Ben and of course Moe, yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. So I was definitely up for it.
Whether it's deliberate or not, I don't know. But I in that house, I'd looked after my brother who had mental illness and wasn't in a great shape for a long time. And Ben knew all this. I talked to him about it and all that. And Bugaloo is kind of, there's a version of my story in there where, like, when you're sort of looking after somebody, or when you're with somebody, you're sort of trapped in that world with them. And that's what, for me, and it's probably different for Ben and maybe different for Rory, but for me, that's what Bugaloo was about. It was like when you're in that relationship with somebody who's mentally ill, which Arthur is, you're kind of trapped in his world. So I loved it. I just thought it was brilliant the way.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you say that, Peter. But I remember reading it the first time, and I actually was looking at it as like, this is a great piece of entertainment. Like, this is, there's a guy in the run, and he runs into this house, and he meets this crazy guy. But then obviously from chatting to you and chatting to Ben, and all the stuff that we were working on, it became apparent that it was so much bigger than that. It's not just a story of a guy on the run who meets this crazy guy. It's much more. It's deeper, and that was really exciting for me, because it just opens up so much more for the character, so that's interesting that you say that, because it was definitely, I definitely changed my opinion in that prep time, from what I thought it was to what it actually became, so yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. Well, like, I suppose the game, originally it was Buckaroo. I don't know if you remember that game from the 70s, 80s. It's with the horse, and you've got to put the things on. It's like Doctor, that one. You put the bits on the horse, and you hope that it don't, and the horse springs it all off. And I contacted, it was MB Games or one of those companies during the States, and they said absolutely not. They read the script. So they said not a chance. Like, so we were thinking, can we just do this anyway? And then we thought, no, we can't. Like, they've said no. So we had to come up with a sort of a version of that. And then I bought a Buckaroo, and I bought a sort of a synthetic version in a toy story, and I got Mark Kelly. I asked Mark Kelly, would he come up with something, and he came back with this. What you see is this baby Buckaroo. Yeah, it's a version which I was kind of looking at. We're all looking at it, going, "Can we really do that? Can we put that on screen?" And we went with it.
I think it's one of those things, Peter, isn't it? It's like it actually worked out better than I think. Like, I think the baby works really well. Instead of the like, Buckaroo would have been great, but it's one of those things that just happens sometimes where you have to find a way to make it work. And actually, when you do find a way, it's better than what the original probably would have been. Certainly, that's
Absolutely.
what I. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Now, but the baby is just, it just adds a little bit more madness or a bit more surrealness, I think, into it too.
definitely.
It was written. No, we chatted about it in London, and then Ben went off and came back with that and said, I don't know what you think, because he was trying to think of a piece that would work in the house too. And then I read it and just said, yeah, cool, let's go for it. So Ben had been in well, Ben knew Rory and he knew Mo from the gym. I think you guys were hanging out in the gym at the time, and I think
we were gym friends. That's right. It's really funny how it happens. You know, it's like there's this one particular gym in Dublin. It just seems to attract film people and theatre people. But we used to chat there, and like I said earlier, as soon as the opportunity came up to work with Peter and Ben and Mo, it was kind of a no-brainer. Especially because I knew you guys already, so we already kind of had a little bit of a rapport. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. But yeah, that's right. We were planning in the gym as we were supposed to be working out.
I think Mo originally was not he wasn't sitting on the fence. He was just it was a curveball, I think, for him. Ben just handed him, and he was in the middle of something else or whatever it was. But Ben handed him Bugaloo, and he came back going, what is art, or what is this about? Like, what? I don't know if I can do this. Oh yeah, I can. No, I'd love to do it. No, I don't want to do this. He's just caught in this. He couldn't make up his mind whether he loved it or hated it or whatever. It was just, I think it was a curveball, because it is pretty mad.
The gym came in handy for the running at the start. So I know. Look, like I said earlier on, I came with one idea about what I thought the script was, and then completely changed. And it sounds like a cliche, but the script was actually so well written that it was a lot about technically just following the beats in the script. And then when you have a scene partner like Moe Dunford, it's pretty easy, like, you know. And obviously Peter was there, like, and Ben directing. So in terms of preparation, there was no big kind of huge character preparation other than be confident in the fact that you're in good hands with good directors, a good scene partner, and it's a great script. So it was more about that, and just kind of know my stuff, so I can kind of work with what everyone else is doing. Um, yeah.
The way I'd work as a director, myself and Ben work very, very well together. We kind of, I have a certain way of working, and he has a certain way of working, and we just allow each other flow with that. And sometimes I'll take a step back, and sometimes he'll take a step back or jump in as well. But I like to get deep down and personal and try and find stories, my own stories, and then find relatable stories with actors, in this case Rory and Mo, and try and get a realness happening on set, which is, I think, is really important for a film like this, because it could be played hammy, or could have gone slightly hammy as well. But we're trying to make it as real as possible by talking about our own personal stories that might relate to the characters or the situation.
And I think that's what a lot of it was, wasn't it, Peter? Looking back, that it was those conversations where us figuring it out, and rooting the characters, and rooting the story, so it doesn't go off anywhere. And even though it is a crazy story, that it doesn't become that, like, the characters are real and relatable. And definitely, I remember a lot of those conversations that we were having was very informing, and it helped form everything that we were doing, because it gave it weight, and a realness, I think.